Have you ever stopped just for a moment and asked yourself, am I really living? Or am I just getting through the day? Most of us wake up, brush our teeth, rush through traffic, do the job we don't truly care about, eat meals without tasting them, scroll through endless feeds and then fall asleep, only to repeat the same thing tomorrow. And we call that life. But is that really living? Krishnamurti once said, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." Think about that. Maybe we've become so used to functioning inside the system, so used to surviving, that we've forgotten how to actually live. Real living isn't just movement. It's awareness. It's presence. It's being fully awake to what is. But here's the hard part. Most of us don't want to see life as it is. We want distractions. We want routines. We want noise. Because in silence, in stillness, we are forced to look inward. And that can be terrifying. Krishnamurti taught that truth is a pathless land, meaning there's no step-by-step guide to living a meaningful life. No one can hand it to you. Not religion, not tradition, not society, not even him. You have to discover it for yourself. But discovery only happens when you start seeing things clearly, not through the filter of fear, not through the lens of desire, but just seeing. So let me ask you again, are you living or just existing? Existing means living based on memory, based on repetition, based on what others expect from you. You go to school because you're told to. You get a job because that's what success means. You chase relationships because being alone scares you. You make decisions not because they feel right, but because they feel safe. But real living? That begins when you start asking questions. Why am I doing this? What do I actually feel? Is this what I truly want, or just what I've been told to want? Krishnamurti wasn't offering answers. He was offering questions, because questions wake you up. They shake your foundations, and if you're brave enough to face them, they can free you. But freedom doesn't come cheap. To live freely, you must understand yourself. Not just the surface, not just your name, your job, your favorite color, but the deeper you, the you that reacts, fears, resents, clings, and desires. Observation without judgment. That's the first step. Krishnamurti emphasized that. Just watch yourself. Watch your thoughts. Watch your emotions. Don't call them good or bad. Just look, like you're watching a bird on a branch. Curious, quiet, attentive. And when you do this long enough, something shifts. You start to notice how automatic you've been, how often you act out of fear, how rarely you question your own beliefs, and that's when something powerful happens. You begin to see, not just the world, but yourself. And in that seeing, there is clarity. And in that clarity, there's the beginning of living. Living is not excitement. It's not about chasing thrills. It's about depth. It's about understanding. It's about being in touch with what's real, not what's projected, not what's sold to you, not what's expected of you. But don't mistake this for passivity. This is not about escaping responsibility. This is about engaging with life directly, without the baggage of conditioning. Let's take an example. Imagine you're angry. Most people will tell you to manage your anger. Breathe, count to 10, be polite. But Krishnamurti says, go deeper. Don't suppress the anger. Don't act on it either. Just look at it. Watch it rise. Watch what triggers it. Don't interfere. Don't explain it away. Just observe it like a scientist observing a wild animal. With care, with attention, with stillness. In that observation, you may realize the anger is not separate from you. It is you. It's a reaction, a conditioned response. And the moment you see it for what it is, not through the lens of morality, but through clarity, it begins to dissolve. That's what real living looks like. It's a constant act of seeing, of meeting life as it comes, without resistance, without distortion, without fear. But here's the thing, you can't do this in a hurry. There's no shortcut, no trick, no 10-step program. It's slow, it's honest, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. But it's worth it, because once you start living with awareness, even the smallest moments become rich. Drinking water, hearing the wind, looking into someone's eyes. They're no longer just things you pass by. They become life itself, alive, immediate, sacred. You stop searching for meaning because you realize that living with awareness is meaning enough. But most people don't want that kind of freedom, because real freedom means there's no one to blame, no one to follow, no excuses. It's just you. And that kind of responsibility scares people. So we trade our freedom for comfort, for predictability, for control. We follow what society tells us because it feels safer than facing the unknown. We hold on to habits, routines, identities, even when they don't serve us, just to avoid the discomfort of change. But Krishnamurti warned us, when you blindly follow a pattern, you're already dead inside. You might be breathing, moving, speaking, but there's no real awareness, no connection to life. You're like a machine repeating old programming. And here's the real tragedy. Most people go their entire lives that way. They live 70, 80, even 90 years, and never once actually live, because real living is dangerous. It challenges everything. It requires you to tear down what's false. And most of what we believe is false. We say, I love this person, but is it love or is it attachment? We say, I believe in this, but is it belief or just inherited thought? Krishnamurti said, to find out what is true, you must be free from belief. That's hard, because belief gives us security. We cling to religion, to politics, to identity, to tradition, not because we've explored them deeply, but because they make us feel stable. But what if that stability is fake? What if the structure of your life is just a house of cards, built on fear, comfort, and other people's expectations? Would you have the courage to tear it down, to stand in the open with nothing to hold on to? That's the beginning of living. When you no longer look for safety in ideas, when you no longer run from your own thoughts, when you can sit in silence and be fully present without needing to escape. And when that happens, something amazing opens up. A kind of space inside you. A stillness. A freedom you can't describe in words. Because it's not an idea. It's not a theory. It's an experience. Krishnamurti wasn't interested in beliefs or followers. He didn't want people to worship him. He wanted people to wake up, to be aware, to stop looking outside for answers and turn inward with full attention. And the moment you do that, you realize you don't need to become something. You already are. You just need to see clearly, without distortion, without fear. When you're truly living, you don't chase happiness. You are happiness. Not the excited, momentary kind, but a deep, quiet joy that comes from clarity. You no longer ask, what should I do with my life? Because living with attention is your life. And in that attention, everything matters. The way you speak, the way you walk, the way you treat people, the way you think. Not because of rules, not because someone told you to, but because you're present. You're not running. You're not pretending. You're not numbing yourself with distractions. You're just here. Existing becomes living. Breathing becomes sacred. You stop being a prisoner of the mind and begin to live with the mind as a tool, not a master. That's the transformation Krishnamurti spoke of. And it begins now, not tomorrow. Not after you read more books or take more courses. Now. In this very moment. So I'll ask you one last time. Are you truly living or just existing? And maybe after all this, you're still unsure. Still wondering what it really means to live. Still asking, where do I even begin? Begin here, with awareness. Not some grand decision, not some dramatic change, but simple attention. Notice how you feel when you wake up. Notice how you speak to others. Notice what makes you restless, what you run from, what you chase. That noticing, that watching, is the seed of transformation. You don't need a new lifestyle. You don't need to leave your job or move to a forest. You just need to be present in this moment, honestly and completely. And if you can live one moment fully, you can live the next, and the next. And that's how life shifts. Not with explosions, but with quiet, steady awareness. Krishnamurti often said, "The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence." So let go of judgment. Let go of the need to label things as good or bad, right or wrong. Just observe. Let life reveal itself to you, moment by moment. And one day, maybe without even realizing it, you'll find you're no longer asking whether you're living or existing. Because you are living, fully, consciously, freely. Not because someone told you how, not because you followed a method, but because you had the courage to look, to see yourself honestly, to wake up. That's the beginning of a new life. Not a different life, but a deeper one. A life that is your own, unborrowed, unconditioned, unbound. So as this video ends, don't rush to the next one. Don't scroll right away, just sit for a moment, be still. Listen to the silence inside you, and ask yourself, quietly and gently, am I awake right now?